Hi, my name's Matt. I'm from the Gyms, Antennas and Security division. Welcome on a day on the road with me. Today we'll be doing a Hikvision install, so camera install. We'll be doing 5 cameras around this property with obviously concerns of security around the area. So yeah, we'll show you how we put it all up. Just put my safety gear on. So today we're installing the Hikvision system. So we've got 5 cameras. We've done the 6 megapixel cameras AcuSense. We've got a couple of brackets just in case we need to use them as well in certain areas, but this system is highly regarded. A lot of businesses use them as well, but for residential use, they're a pretty robust system. Okay. So it's about 8 AM in the morning that we've arrived here. I've already spoken to the customer. We should, with 5 cameras all going well, we should look at finishing around, at worst case, 3. So yeah, so it's a good, it's good full days of work, but just allowing that little bit extra if we come across any issues that may take a little bit longer pulling the cable through. So I always generally allow a full day with doing a camera install, especially if I'm doing it by myself. Some more difficult jobs, I'd ask other franchisees to give me a hand and allow for that. But yeah, with jobs like this, allow the full day. Yeah. So first what we're going to do is I'm going to go into the roof and just check how we go. We're going down the wall to the position of where we want the NVR to be, which is going to be in a cupboard. We've got internet access in there as well and power, so we're all sorted there. So once that part's done and we can get the cables down, then we'll start pulling the cables through the positions where the cameras are going to go. So we're going to try and see if we can get down this wall here, come out through here. We can see that the internet, the router's here. We've got power, everything ready to go. So we're going to go on the roof and make sure we can get the cables down the wall. So I just found the position of where the cables are going to come down. So drilled a hole into the top plate where the 5 cables, Cat 6 cables, will run down. Now we check that, so we'll put a hole into the drywall here. Make sure I've found the right spot. Yep, should be there. Should be there. Find out when we cut a hole. Yeah, so here is where the NVR, so the network video recorder, will be housed. And from the cameras, we'll be running directly from the cameras down the wall into the back of the NVR. So we do end to end, so less chance of any issues down the track. All good there. So now we start pulling in some cables where the cameras are going to be installed. Yeah, so this job came through to me via the call centre, the gym's call centre, as a lead. Yes, as a lead. So I called Ian. I believe I called him almost straight away because I was just in front of my phone at the time, and I think he got back to me. I think I left a message and he called back. So then I organised with Ian an appropriate time to come out, talk to him about what system he was after, what we could do, where he wanted the cameras, why he wanted the cameras there, and just facilitated that with him, really. He had some concerns, so we obviously fulfilled those concerns, by obtaining the job, really. He felt comfortable that we were listening and we can do the job correctly, and so that's why we're here today, and we're installing the Hikvision for him. We did give Ian a couple of quotes on 2 different systems, so Dawa and Hikvision, and Ian felt more comfortable with the Hikvision, using it at work. The business has it at work, so he felt more comfortable, so we're installing that for him. It's coming up to close to a year. I was previously a national account manager. Well, I've been in the same industry for 22 plus years, and it was time for a change. I think we had an opportunity to purchase a franchise, my wife and I, and what drew us towards it was predominantly the flexibility. I was flying interstate a fair bit overnight, so away from home. I've got a young family. This gives me the flexibility to, if I need to start late, take a day off, I can just do it, work my schedule around that. I can, work extra if I want to as well, Saturdays, like I am this week. I can work a Sunday if I need to, or the customer is only available on a Sunday, so you facilitate that and you go out and help them out. But that's why the change, really, yeah. Look, my opinion on wireless security systems, they do fit a purpose depending on the house and the person's budget. They are cheaper systems generally, but they do work predominantly on motion, which, you're relying on the camera to be able to capture really any motion that might be something that you want to, get that feedback on. No, it's not always recording. So yeah, wireless cameras are not always recording. So because they're battery operated, they will only start recording when it detects motion. So you have to rely that it is going to record when there's a certain motion that you want to know that it's there. So that's one thing. Where the cabled hardwired systems, they're always recording 24/7, so you're not going to miss anything. So that's a big advantage. My division, so I bought the antenna franchise, but with the IP for the security, so I had to do all the training and courses to do the security as well, and license and registration with the Victorian Police, and so and my interest lay more on the security side of things, but I'm grateful that I do have the antenna division as well, because it kind of builds out my week by having both. I can do a combination of security, alarm systems, but also fixing antennas, doing antenna points, data solutions, that kind of thing. So it's just a broader service structure, I suppose, that I can offer customers, which keeps me full during the weeks. So that's great. But yes, the security side of things, definitely the demand for it has increased. Unfortunately, the way the world is trending at the moment, so that does obviously in turn provide more work. Yeah, there's definitely still demand out there for antennas. I've got a new build tomorrow that want a new antenna put up. And then you've got the antennas. I mean, there's obviously countless amount of antennas up around Australia, so then they wear out, they fall down, or birds get to them or whatever, so you're getting a lot of replacements as well, and there's definitely still a lot of demand out there as well. But the combination of both, I think, in our division just gives you a broader span of opportunity for work, really. Combination of both. You know, only being about a year in, I am getting referral work, and I'm also getting repeat work too. So, you know, the same customer, I may have put their TV up, then they want a security system, or vice versa, or whatever it might be. So, you know, I had a lady last week. I put up her second TV, which wasn't on the cards, but she was so impressed with the one in the main room. She called me up the following week and said, "Matt, can you do the front room now?" So, you know, things like that. Yeah, and it's great to hear before you even finish, they're like, "I want your card, I'm going to recommend you, all this and that, you know, how can I help your business?" You know, when you start chatting to them and getting to know them. So, yeah, that's enjoyable. For whatever reason, I know once I'm putting them into NVR, I like to have a sequence, so I know kind of like a, you know, whether it be anti-clockwise or clockwise, but they're all together, so I know when I'm putting them in the system, they're not all sporadic all over the place. The other thing too is if there's any issues with you know, termination, which can happen on the odd occasion, I know which cable it is, so it makes life a bit easier. Just here, so I'll remove that camera that's there, and then we'll go through the roof there and. Every time I'm in someone's roof, I think of the movie Entrapment with Catherine Zeta-Jones as she's going through the lasers. I envision that, except I don't have the bum like her. So we're going to put one here just above these lights facing this area. There's a reserve on the side of the house, so you know, effectively it's easy access to jump over the fence. So we're going to utilise that area, focus on that, and then we've got one on the side of the house also that we're going to do facing this way as well, to really getting full coverage of this area, the vulnerable area. It's going to be here facing that way. So that camera's going to be facing all this area, and then we're going to put one here facing this area. So we've got the side gate as well, plus the fence. So we do pull a little bit more on the cable, and she doesn't go through the hole we've made, and we have to start again. The support's great. Not only is it the support from my franchisor Alex, but you know, you're getting a lot of support from I've got my area manager, who's now a GM. Ian Rees, he's been a fantastic help, always you know, picking up the phone and answering whatever questions to all of us that call him. You've also got other franchisees that are willing to help and give advice, and you know, I had one, a couple of jobs came from the other side of the Westgate from Mo. He was brilliant. You know, when I first started, he called, you know, I called him up, and he gave advice on a few things that, you know, I still use now. He didn't have to do that, but he was more than open to do it. And, you know, things like that, the support's brilliant. You can really lean on, you know, on your franchisors, your franchisees, the area managers. I even spent time with Brett over the northern suburbs, and he was brilliant as well. He's many years with gyms as well. So, and that was one thing that stood out for me, was the amount of time that people had been with gyms and had their franchises. You know, there's a fair few that are over a decade, and that screams volumes for me of the systems that are in place and how they work and that they are working. So, you know, if it was, you know, small amounts, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they move on, you know, that's kind of alarm bells, because you're not really happy. But the fact that people have been here, a lot of them have been there for over decades, you know, screams volumes. Yeah, I had a mate who bought a Jim's mowing franchise, and he'd done other bits and pieces. I'd known him since I was, I don't know, I think 12, 13 or less. I can't remember. I've known him for a long time, but he ended up buying a Jim's mowing franchise, and yeah, I gave him a call and spent the day with him just to see what it was like, yeah, he was, and still is, happy as Larry. Like, he's, yeah, again, working on his own terms, you know, working as hard as he wants to, you know, time off, you know, he doesn't mind working by himself, and you know, doing what he's doing, so he loves it. And so I went on the road with him, spent a day with him, and then I did end up talking to another franchisee local to my area, and that was mowing, just to see if that was going to be for me. So I spoke to him as well, spent the day with him, and just with all my allergies and things like that, I don't think it was the right fit. Plus, I did want to do something that I could be a bit more passionate about. So I looked into all the different divisions, and you know, security was there, and I am interested in the security side of things. And you know, I've done my system and other, you know, families' systems in the past, you know, and whatnot. Just the basic systems, until I ended up getting the training. But it was an interest, and same with all the technology, interested in technology, and so yeah, that kind of thing. That's how it led to investigating this side of things. And then I ended up doing a day on the road with Ian, back a couple of years ago now, and yeah, haven't looked back once I got everything going. Yeah, that was it. So. The work levels are quite good. You know, I'm, you know, turning off leads because I'm busy, turning them back on when I get a little bit quiet. Or it's for me, it was at the beginning, it was kind of managing, being consistent and being busy while I'm busy, still quoting. So I've got work coming up. That's probably what I find to be the hardest part. It's just the balance between you know, the referral work to being busy to quoting while I've still got work on, so that I'm continuously, you know, working really, because I can get carried away with being too busy and then I've got nothing coming up. So it's that kind of thing is a work in progress for me. You know, like, yeah, just that balance between the two. We're good. I'm going to go back in the roof, pull them down. This is the hard part. Once the cabling's down the walls, then it's really a matter of terminating, mounting the cameras up, and then connecting the system. So I always try and get the cabling done. Obviously, most people do it first. Obviously, you have to do it first. But it's more, especially if it's going to be a hot day, I tend to try and get start as early as the customer will allow me, because being in a roof when it's quite warm, it's like working in a sauna. It's been about 2 hours. Yeah, it's 2 hours since we've arrived, and I've only been working for the, you know, it was setting up and stuff for about half an hour and talking to yourself. So we've probably been going for an hour and a half, and we've almost pulled down all the cables. So that's the hard part. So yeah, we're tracking well. Yeah, so hopefully not too much longer, and then we'll have an early lunch. We'll have a canter meal down at the pub, eh? So that's 5 down the wall. We're cabled, hard part's done. We'll take a quick smoko, and we'll be back right after this break. I did the generic one. So with the security side of things, it was only 3 days at was it Murrelbach, and then after that you spend 8 weeks on the road with the area manager. 8 weeks, yeah. So you're there with them doing all the different type of jobs. As time goes on, you're more and more hands-on. So I did that. During that time and after that time, there were courses that I was doing as well. So, you know, partly online, partly in the classroom. So yeah, and also other, you know, working with heights, you know, your security license, you know, your endorsements, that kind of thing, to get you qualified to do the jobs that we do. And all that, that kind of thing is stuff we have with us to, if the customer wants to see those credentials, we can show them. We're not people that are doing something we shouldn't be doing, in other words, is what I'm getting at. So we're all licensed and trained to do it. Yeah, and like anything, you're always learning. Always learning. I learn a lot when I'm out on the road with other franchisees. So no, the training's great. Training's great. Before you dive in officially, they kind of gauge that prior. They're not going to waste anyone's time if they believe that they're not fit to do it. You know, so I mean, I was lucky enough that my father taught me a lot of stuff. You know, he was kind of a self-taught handyman. So over the years growing up, you know, I've used many tools before. But, you know, it's not to say that people that haven't wouldn't fit this. It's just, you know, how comfortable do you feel being more hands-on and using power tools, being on ladders, on roofs, in roofs. You know, sometimes you're up double stories. So, and you know, that can take your breath away a little bit, but you know, you do the right thing, you take the safety precautions, you know, harness up and all that, you know, you'll be fine, you know, as long as you follow the guidelines. On the back there, so what we're doing now is we're going to go, now all the cables have been pulled through, and they're down the wall, all 5 cables are down the wall. We're going to start fitting off each individual camera on the outside. So I always work from the outside in. So I'll do the cameras around, put the mounts up, and once that's all done, then we'll work inside. Terminate the inside, then obviously plug everything in and make sure I've done a good job. Now that our camera's up, I kind of get a rough gauge of where it needs to be, but I keep it loose. So once we've got the cameras going, we put it on the customer's phone, we come around together, they'll look at it and we'll together make sure we've got the right angle that they're after. So that's one camera down. Again, because you've got that flexibility of working as much as you want, what kind of jobs that you do. Yeah, the income has helped my family out a lot. You know, the income has improved, but on top of that, yeah, my balance, you know, with the work-life balance, it's improved. You know, my son started kinder last week. I was able to start work a little later and watch him go to kinder. If I finish early enough, I can pick him up one day. I haven't been able to yet because he's only doing half days, but when he does full days, I'll go and pick him up, you know, from kinder. I'll be able to do that. Same thing if there's any events on, or you know, we took a family day last year during the week to go to the zoo with the kids. You know, I think it was a Wednesday. You know, I can do that. Yeah, so that side of thing, plus, you know, the income, at the end of the day, you can't take it with you. So it's all about making memories while you can, you know, enjoying those special moments. And for me, everyone's priorities are different, but for me, it's just spending as much time with my kids. And a lot of people have the same, you know, feelings as, you know, with that, but everyone's different, you know. So for me, it's about spending as much time with my family and being there while my kids are growing up, while they still want to know me. You know, So when they get to teenage years, I'm sure they'll, I mean, the time will be limited, as it always is, just the way it is, you know. But yeah, it's been really good. The one I felt that they had was, and I still get asked that every now and then, it's the whole, how much does gym take? It comes up often. I guess that's the one. That's the big one. And at the end of the day, it's literally, you know, you got your set franchise fee every month, so it's irrelevant to how much you've actually earned. You have your lead fees as well. That's the only thing that really fluctuates, is, you know, if you're switched on for leads, the more leads that you grab that month, that's what you pay for. But if you're quite active with your business and you're able to get referral work, you don't pay for referral work. So it's really, you know, I had one last week, a security camera job, and he was the next door neighbour of a job I got through a lead. So, you know, those type of things, you know, you can build that side of your business up, then you're paying less each month, so therefore you're earning more. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't take a percentage, and he does mention that a lot. That's not what he's about. He's really about, you know, us doing a great job for our customers, because it's also your business, but it's also, you're affecting other gyms at the end of the day, other gyms franchisees. We're kind of, you know, what's the saying that, you know, do a good job, they may tell a handful of people. Do a bad job, they tell multiple, you know. So it affects all of us. So at the end of the day, if it's not a job you'd be happy with for your own place, you know, do it better or fix it. I've actually had customers say, oh yeah, I've used gyms for this, I've used gyms for that, now I'm using you, because they've been happy with the service. So therefore, because of something that's another franchise, another division has done, that's got me work. It's just really how it works. So if you do a bad job, it's a reflection on gyms as a whole. So don't do a bad job. Yep. So being a Hikvision, it's on the kind of higher end for residential, especially residential. So this one with 5 cameras, we're talking about 5 mounts as well, with an 8-channel NVR. With the hard drive, you're looking at about 3.3-ish at the end. So and what you get out of that is, you know, a strong, robust quality system that you will really be able to tell once we see the cameras all powered up. Yeah, there are cheaper systems out there, and it's horses for courses, and everyone's got a budget they want to stick within. You know, it is tough out there at the moment with the cost of living, so you know, you try and cater for everyone's needs as much as possible. I had a job yesterday that I did High Look, which is by Hikvision. It's the entry-level products, and that for 4 cameras was about, I think it was about $1,600 at the end of the day, with all the other little bits and pieces. So yeah, so at the end of the day, it's just we cater, or we do our best to cater for people's needs, and what they're budgeting for, and yeah, what they're after. We do, you know, our install labour warranty. We also do a manufacturer's warranty as well. So if there's any issues, I also provide, I'm sure the other guys do it as well, is, you know, after installation service. You know, if customers have any questions, you know, oh, I don't know how to do this, or I might have fiddled with that. You know, if we can, we'll help you over I help you over the phone. You know, try and get it sorted for you as quick as possible. Especially, you know, a lot of people might be going away and something needs to be set up a little bit differently or whatnot. We can help out. But that after installation service, I know I like to provide and have provided a lot to my customers. So that's something that, yeah, I think is peace of mind for the customer. Last camera, yep. But no, last camera, and then we'll go inside, terminate the ones inside, plug everything in, make sure it all works, put it on the customer's phone. Once it's on the customer's phone, we'll go around each camera, making sure it's angled the right way and the customer's happy. Give all the credentials and information to the customer, and that's it. Ready to start the weekend. So all 5 cameras are up. We're now going to go inside, terminate the cables from inside, and then plug them into the NVR and switch everything on, and hopefully it works. You know, for whatever reason, the wires could be touching each other. Some might have not have terminated correctly. You know, it's just, you can kind of have a look at that in the system. You can kind of tell you if there's data or power or what's not coming through. And generally speaking, if it does happen, which is on the odd occasion it does, you just terminate both ends again and then it works. So that's really it, to be honest. It's not Dire Straits. Great band. Just going to terminate this end. So these are the other ends of the Cat6 cable that we've got at the cameras. So this is, each camera has one of these cables that's coming down the wall here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to terminate this end now, plug them into the NVR, monitor, turn it on, and then yeah, set it all up. Yeah, so we've terminated all the cables now. I'm just going to do a quick tidy up, just a quick vacuum, and then we'll plug everything in. The excess we can put back into the wall cavity and tidy up a bit better once we know everything's working. And we'll aim it where you want it to be. Yep. But that is just, yeah, these systems are just brilliant. Like the clarity and then the zooming in is just, yeah. And you're on HD, so you can change it to standard definition as well, but you're on HD at the moment. Yep. That's the backyard, and that's the side of the house. We can go as far as 1 hour, 10 minutes even, okay? And it'll record any events that are happening out the front. So again, if there was a car, if you were actually on a street and there was a car going past, I can click on just that, and it'll show you all the points of where there's cars going past. I'm going to go up, we're going to go together around the cameras, and you on your phone will tell me how you want it angled. Yeah, we'll do that right now. Yep. And then once we're done, so we want to go this way, so I'll just get out of the way so we can see. Alright, so job is done. We've put the 5 cameras up, we've mounted them, and we've connected them to the NVR, the 8-channel NVR, with the 4TB hard drive, hooked it up to the system, got it on the customer's phone, showed him how to share it with his wife when she gets home, show them all the different options, you know, HD, recording on your phone, the playback, changing names, things like that, just showed them notifications. So yeah, all that kind of thing, yeah, the customer's really happy with. Yeah, if there's any dramas, I just said to him again, you can just contact me at any time and we'll work it out, either by phone call or if I have to come back again for any concerns they may have. It's easy enough. So yeah, but another very happy, satisfied customer. Depends, yeah, it depends. You got to. That comes with experience on how long a job will take, I suppose, when you've done it previously. You know, at the beginning, jobs like this that we just did would take me all day. You know, from 8, 9 in the morning till 4 or 5 o'clock. You know, but as time has gotten on, experience, you know, you get to learn how to do things a little bit more efficiently. So then, like today, we're finished at 1:30. 1:30 we finished. So, but it depends on the job. So I allocate a whole day. If I'm doing antenna jobs I might do, depending on what it is, I might do 3 or 4 jobs in a day. You know, alarm systems generally I book out a full day, but if I finish early enough, I can do some extra jobs. But it depends on the size of the job and what's involved. Allowing time, I prefer to allow for time just to be safe, knowing that whatever I'm doing it properly, and I'm not rushing through it, thinking, oh God, I've got to get to this other job. I told them, you know, about now that I'd be there, and you know. But at the end of the day, if that ever does happen, you contact the customer and you just tell them, you know, I'm running a bit late and I want to do the job properly. So, you know, I don't want to rush it. I may be a bit late or I may have to reschedule. I apologise. And generally speaking, customers are understanding. You just be honest and upfront with them and just communicate. Don't just leave it for the customer to contact you. Contact the customer. If you're meant to be there between 12 and 2 and it's 2:30 and they haven't heard from you, well, I don't expect the customer not to be upset. So it's just all about communication, and it's your business at the end of the day. It's your name as well as the gym's name. So, you know, just think. It's just logical, common sense. Yeah, yes, it is. So, you know, this is generally how the security jobs go. You know, with the single stories, they're a bit more manageable than double stories. Double stories can be a bit trickier, and it also depends on the build of the house. But generally speaking, you know, we've you know, it's 1:30 and we got here at 8. Didn't start till probably about 8:30, 8:45. So, you know, things went pretty smoothly, as you'd hope, and that comes with a bit of experience as well that I've learnt through doing jobs and through other franchisees who have helped me along the way. And if I get stuck with anything, I know I can give them a call and get an answer and some advice. So look, I would contact. You can go online to the gym security website and you can inquire on how to become a franchisee, and you'll get, generally speaking, Peter will give you a call, have an initial chat with him. Then you probably get some phone numbers of franchisees to get in touch with, and you can just have a chat with them, get their feedback, their experience. Then we also recommend spending a day on the road with one of us, just to see what we do, a bit of hands-on. We'll get you to do a couple of things if you're comfortable to do that, like maybe, you know, putting up a camera or whatnot. So that type of thing we can do, and then after that, you know, we take it further if we think that and you think that there's something that would suit you.